Good day, everyone. My name is Kang. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone for watching this video. It is an honor to share what we have done and are trying to achieve at our school. So today I'll be talking about two things. So the first would be self-organized learning stations, and the other is the maker's approach. And both of these efforts or initiatives are done in our school in SK Pengaraan. But before that, earlier this month, my friend and I had the chance to attend the International Postgraduate Conference on Science and Mathematics at UPSI, Tanjung Malim, Perak. It was kind of the first conference of such scale I've attended. I did learn a lot there, but something that really inspired me during the conference is that when we met with Fatima. So this is me in the picture on the one with the white shirt. Next to me is Fatima's mother, who came to present her research all the way from Perth, Australia. And while we were listening to one of the sessions, Fatima and her mother was sitting right in front of us. And I couldn't but help notice that she was watching some very strange videos. So this is like one of the titles of the videos, and these videos are very entertaining. You can see there are cartoon characters, but then what's interesting is that there were scientific and mathematical concepts just flying around, and everything was just happening so quickly. And I couldn't understand what was going on without audio, so came lunchtime, I went up to her mother and asked for her permission to talk to her. And she was so passionate about what she was explaining when she was explaining to me about those videos. And so the general idea of the videos is that the creator took characters and scenes from video games and cartoons and overanalyzed this concept in those games. So they would be talking about physics, chemistry, biology, mathematical concept in such an engaging way that the viewers actually have fun learning those concepts. I mean, one example I could remember her explaining was that how it was practically impossible for Pikachu, the character in the Pokemon cartoon series, to destroy a limestone structure with electricity generated from itself. There were researches about electric eels involved, discussion of concepts of voltage, current, and resistance, all in the context of a cartoon or a game. And what's significant is that she was learning so much concepts that was above her age. I mean, she won't even learn this in her normal lesson in school, yet at the age of 15. So the significance of this meeting is so important because I believe that learners today aren't like learners before. We don't just come to school to get the information. Information is available anywhere. You can watch videos, you can learn online, you can read books. But so what I believe is there has to be a shift in the way we conceive learning if we want to engage our future generation. So today I'll be talking about two characteristics that I think is essential to the success of our learners now and of course for the future. Well, these characteristics are curiosity and agency. Well, you see the school I'm currently teaching in is in the interiors of Nabawan district. So here is Nabawan, right in the heart of Sabah, and traveling into the school requires 3 hours of your time and at least a four-wheel drive. So while the journey is harsh, the school and the village is just beautiful. Surrounded by nature, the children have every opportunity to learn so much by interacting with life around them. However, by looking only at the surface as we normally do in the students' performance in examination and tests, they have never shown any signs of excellence. But this is not a reflection of their values towards life. They are very down to earth, humble and helpful, hardworking children. Furthermore, outside the classroom, when encountering problems and challenges in their daily lives, they have shown signs of determination, enthusiasm, perseverance, creativity, and innovation. So, for a teacher, it is surprising and also disheartening that they do not bring these values to the classroom. The lack of interest and motivation to succeed academically is a huge challenge to teachers in our school. Nevertheless, I've seen a different attitude when students participate in activities that required physical involvement, such as hands-on activities, making, and also art and music. On the other hand, they are very enthusiastic towards technology. This observation encouraged me to introduce project-based learning. The idea was to re-examine the current syllabus and combine topics that are related into subjects or into projects where students can complete while learning about the related concepts. The objective is to further the understanding, interests, and skill in the STEM disciplines. So instead of teaching and learning science, maths, and languages as distinct subjects, we are trying to incorporate them into projects which develop the knowledge and skills in the all said subjects. And to support this effort, we have identified two avenues whereby STEM initiatives in the school could benefit from. The first is called self-organized learning stations, which are actually portals for exploring and exposure to technology, while the other is called the Makers Lab, and it is the establishment of a makerspace in the school to support and encourage the culture of making and design thinking. Alright, so you see, Einstein once said that imagination is more important than knowledge. So let's do a little imagining. Try imagining that in your hands there is a card, a credit card or debit card, and imagine that this card is a fully functional computer. So what would you do with this card or with this computer? So for us, we have decided to build computer stations or kiosks. So this is the Raspberry Pi and this is the Pi 3 model. It is a powerful yet affordable computer designed for education. It only costs around 170 ringgit, but is capable of functioning like any other computer. Maybe not as powerful, but still enough for everyday computing, surfing, and simple gaming. What makes it useful in my circumstances is that it is portable and it doesn't require lots of power. You can actually boot it up with a power bank. So what we did is we have set up a self-organized learning station in the school and observed how students have interacted with it. Well, outwardly the station is well received and it sparked their curiosity. Students aged 7 to 12 would come to the station during recess and after school, with each student spending about 30 to an hour on the computer. So most of the time they would play games, while some elder students would surf the internet. And among the games preloaded in the computer, the popular one is called Minecraft, and there's a Pi edition. There's a Minecraft Pi edition preloaded in the OS. So some of you might have heard of Minecraft. It is in short a sandbox game where students are able to use 3D blocks to build their imagination in a virtual world. But what makes the Raspberry Pi a powerful educational tool is that it allows learners to learn how to program in languages like Scratch and Python. And with that, you can program interaction in Minecraft or even code your own Python games. There is a huge online community dedicated to develop software, apps, and operating system based on the Raspberry Pi, and they are mostly open sourced. So this means that the possibilities are endless and there are always help. So you might think then, why am I setting up these stations? The objectives are exposure and exploration. So I'm sure you'll agree that computer literacy is very important at this age, and even more so in the future. So why should the children at Pengaran be left out? Because the only time they are using a computer is when they are at school. So after school, even though they are very enthusiastic and eager to work on a computer and the internet, they have no other means. So these stations are meant to be computers that are always accessible with minimal restrictions, supervisions, and instructions. So what they will do is they will work out how to use these computers by themselves most of the time, and their learning will be motivated purely by curiosity. They will learn through trial and error, and they will work across age group, where more experienced users will aid the new ones. They will be self-organized in the sense that they choose who they work with, when and how they will learn. For me, this is how agency is developed. Having the sense that they have a choice in their learning and having grit to overcome obstacles they face while trying to learn something. So while some educators might not be entirely comfortable with the idea of letting children learn on their own, well, this is actually how most of our early learning happened. Before we enter into the confines of a school where everything has to be structured and planned. And most notable researchers such as the hole-in-the-wall experiments done by Sugata Mitra, have demonstrated this idea and proved that children can actually develop computer literacy on their own. In his TED Talk, Sugata explains his wish to establish a school in the cloud where learning from self-organized learning environments around the world would help build the school. So, a self-organized learning environment consists of the learners and also facilitated by an adult, and the adult does not intervene does not help in the learning. Instead, they just give encouragement. So the students are powered by their curiosity, and they collaborate on a certain problem, and they are self-organized. They can come and go as they want. They're engaged, and there's a social context whereby the students are able to learn from each other. So students are given a big questions, and they are challenged to think on their own. And then students choose their own groups. They can change their groups anytime, and students can move about freely, share and talk to each other about their ideas. And they can choose to explore in any direction they want. So these big questions are so um, flexible, is that they allow no single right answer. So with that, the exploration and the learning is so rich. And the groups are expected to present what they have learned at the end of the session. So what they present does not always answer the big question. It's just that what they have learned throughout the way, trying to find the answer for the big question. So that's one. The other project we are trying to do is called the Maker Lab. The name is related to the makers movement that have been growing ever since it was conceived. The idea of a maker movement can be traced back to the 2005 founding of the Make magazine and the first Maker Fair in 2006. So it could be said that the makers movement is relatively something new, but really it isn't. Maria Montessori argued that children and youth can learn by playing and building with interesting tools and materials. Making and the building Making and building can foster learning in a variety of ways. For example, testing out ideas in the world allows one to check expectations against reality, a process that can create conceptual disequilibrium and in turn lead to conceptual adaptation. The maker movement also creates a context of social engagement. This can bring more and less experienced participants together around a common task, and this is what often proves to be fruitful for learning. So what exactly is the maker movement about, and what are makerspaces? To explain simply, the maker movement is about making things and sharing them in a community. The makerspace the makerspaces are then collaborative spaces where people come together to make things. Most makerspaces are equipped with various tools and technologies such as the 3D printer, CNC machine, electronics, carpentry, and many more. Makerspaces in education then allow students to explore project-based learning or employ design thinking to make meaning of content. So the idea of establishing a makerspace started earlier this year when we tried project-based learning. We found that we needed a space for storing the tools and materials required for the students' project. And what's more important is that we found that students are very excited to make stuff, and they have been making most of their toys out of materials they can find around them. This proves that they are indeed resourceful and innovative children. So the Maker Lab is a space for students to work on their projects and also play around with materials and tools available. I say play because I found that students here mostly are motivated by fun, and I'm sure that it is the same everywhere else. Studies have shown that children learn mostly through play, and this is especially important during early childhood. So the Maker Lab began with the introduction of simple tools such as the hot glue gun and the soldering iron, easily found materials such as cardboard, wood, mostly recycled stuff, and simple electronics. And the objective is to engage students in a culture of making through the use of affordable and recycled materials with simple and common tools. So normally they would just make things out of of their imagination, while some students did refer to books and online videos for ideas to make stuff. Students have made projects such as model cars, houses, toys, and such, and mostly just for fun. This idea of learning by making is grounded by constructivism, created by Papert, who believed that one could learn by doing and making things. It is on this basis that we decided to develop modules for project based learning that is cross curricular, focusing on the STEM disciplines. So, at the end of the day, our whole idea of doing this is to empower the students with a vision that they can actually do something for the community and improve their own lives, to help them expand their possibilities and encourage them to take ownership of their learning and progress. We are trying not to teach them science, technology, engineering, or math as it is. Instead, we are trying to develop agency and curiosity, creativity and thinking, communication and collaboration through these subjects. These are the skills and attitudes that will shape their future, more important than just mastering the content. Because I like what William Butler Yeats says: education is not the filling of a bucket, but the lighting of a fire. So these two efforts we are trying at Pengaran are just few of the many ways to promote learning in STEM. They are conceived out of necessity and with the understanding of the circumstances of the students and the local community. I'm sharing this not to recommend the replication of the efforts in our school, but rather I believe that teachers and educators have the ability to recognize the needs of their students and the available resources they have around them to support their efforts. However, I believe the climate of the school and the community is a very important factor influencing this ability. The culture of encouragement and support should exist if we want innovation to happen in education. And with the fourth industrial revolution knocking at our door, I think there's no better time for more innovations. So my only recommendation here is teachers, educators, keep on innovating. Thank you.